The concern here is what happens next for Liverpool Football Club.
I'd obviously still support the club because it's my club.
It's very difficult to say, right, I'll never come to a match again.
What's dirty money? It doesn't matter where the money comes from.
I mean, to use an old phrase, that's not the Liverpool way.
It would be a real problem for me. I don't think, as a person, I can spend the last few years criticising Man City's ownership model and the politics of that state. Also criticising the owners of Newcastle United and then suddenly do an about-face.
You just can't ignore how they've got their cash together and what they do, and killing journalists and not being inclusive with people in communities and things like that, outlawing being gay almost and things like that. That's not, I mean, to use an old phrase, that's not the Liverpool way.
People keep saying to me, do we want dirty money? What's dirty money? It doesn't matter where the money comes from. Through the 60s to the 80s, we were most successful. That was our club's prime. That money came from the Moors legacy throughout Littlewoods pools. We took it gracefully and we've got a history second to none. One that only United can compete with. No one else in England can compete with Liverpool's history other than United. But I'll always say that we're better than them.
Yeah, it's very hard to say, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer because this football club means so much to everyone involved, but it would definitely affect me. I think every win would maybe be tainted, but again, it's very easy for me to stand here and say and have the moral high ground where Newcastle are owned, City are owned, PSG are part owned. But until it actually happens, it's very difficult to say, right, I'll never come to a match again or I'll never watch a Liverpool game again. Because realistically, that's not going to be the case for most people.
I'd actively try and stand up for what I believe in and what I believe everyone else should be. And if anyone else feels uncomfortable coming to a game of football for those reasons because of our owners and maybe against those individuals or their country discriminates against them, I'd want to stand up for what I believe in and I'd want to try and make a stand and get a group together and I'd form. And yeah, I'd still support the players on the pitch. I'd still support Jurgen Klopp because I don't think half of them would agree with it either. Well, I hope all of them wouldn't.
Myself included, everyone would love to see Liverpool, win back-to-back Premier League titles and Champions Leagues. That comes at a cost. And, do you want to, take Newcastle, for example, a club, ingrained what you would have said, 2, 3, 4 years ago in kind of everything that the city did well. It was a working-class city and now it feels like they've kind of sold their soul really in almost for what price, for a few trophies and maybe a legacy. But at the end of the day, they've become a puppet of the Saudi state.
The concern here is what happens next for Liverpool Football Club because if we end up in the wrong hands, you're going to have a huge pushback from fans. You know yourself what it was like 12 years ago and how horrible it was coming to the match at times and seeing all the marches, and we were in the marches and filming the marches and stuff like that. It wasn't a good environment, fans getting annoyed with fans and arguing with fans. It was just not a nice place to be.
We've got little control over it ultimately, have we, which is the unfortunate thing. We'd all love it to be, a massive Liverpool fan with deep pockets who loves the city and, does all the things we want them to do. But ultimately, what can we do to stop it? We know Spirit of Shankly are saying the right things, obviously. We've got supporters in and around the board now and things like that. But ultimately, the people at the very top with the keys in their hand, they can do what they want, can't they?
It raises questions for me about what is a football club? Is it a commodity? Is it something that can be traded on the open market without any engagement or say-so from the supporters or the community upon which it's built? Or is it a community asset? And I think it's very bleak at the moment. It's very hard to be positive about the future of the sport because I can only see this increasing and the competitive edge of football is going to be lost as a result of that, I think.